Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Princess Amarachi, and on today's episode we'll be talking about curiosity, a simple trick to growth, and that is how we can grow and get better just by the simple act of developing our curiosity. Now, I like to share a story. I remember when I was graduating from school, my friends came around and they were asking me, okay, Princess, can you tell us how you were able to navigate through school and how you were able to come out better? And I told them that first, I was very curious about my course of study. I was so much interested in it that I wasn't just looking out for what the lecturers wanted to tell me. So I did a lot more than when you see me like, this girl, are you in for the grades or are they paying you to do what you're doing? So I want to share the lessons I had from my academics journey to life in general. And I know you're going to like what I'm about to share. So sit tight and don't go nowhere. Now, one thing I want to say is that when you find yourself stagnant or not progressing in your growth level, maybe it's in every aspect of your life, generally, one thing I want you to discover is that you need to develop an interest in that aspect of your life. So let's say that you want to get better in your finances or you want to get better in your business. One thing you need to accept, do I have an interest in developing this thing? Do I have an interest in wanting to know about this? It's one thing to have the kind of interest that just wants to know about this, like let's just know what it's all about, let's get the summary. And it's another thing to have the kind of interest that wants to understand something and be part of it. There are two things involved. So if we have two friends who want to understand football and one that just wants to have a surface knowledge of what football is, their activities and actions and plans are going to be different. The one that wants to understand about football and be part of it will want to wake up early, join in the trainings, go with other footballers, research about football, follow the trends, listen and pay attention to every detail. But the one that just wants to have a summary or just an understanding of it so that when he's being asked, do you know this player? Do you know this other player? He will say yes. Won't have to go through all those stress. All he just needs to do is to maybe ask people around or read one or two articles about football and he's good to go. So it's about your interest. Decipher what kind of interest you have in that aspect of your growth. Do you have the kind of interest that wants to just know the surface level, or is your interest the one that wants to understand and be part of what you want to know? So that's it for that. Now, secondly, after you have developed the interest, you've understood your interest level in that thing, then it's time for you to get curious about it. Yeah, so this is the part I love. There are a lot of things that's involved in you getting curious into something. Getting curious is something that demands that you ask questions about it to everyone and to everything. I remember then in school, I was so much more interested in my course of study, not because I was even having a career around it, but because I was interested in how the media works and how it is a tool for change. So everything around me was a point of questioning, a point of asking question on why is this like this and how is it related to the media. Whether it was what I was studying in school, whether it was part of my course curriculum, I didn't care. But what I wanted to know was I wanted to understand this and apply it to my curiosity. So in getting curiosity, it demands that you ask. That's the basic thing we know when we say someone is being curious. It demands that you ask questions, not stupid questions, but questions that are targeted to your goal. And your goal is trying to get better at something and you get better by understanding that process. Now, when you're done asking, it demands that you also do a thorough research. Everyone that has ever gotten better at something has done a research about it. Yes. It's good that people tell you something. It's good that people give you an information about something, but you don't always have to wait to be fed. You need to get up and feed yourself, and you feed yourself with research. You feed yourself with information. The information that you get yourself is much more sustainable than the one that you're being told. The one your lecturer tells you, the one your teacher tells you, the one your coach tells you, the one your mentors tell you. And that's the aspect of doing research, being part of the experience. Okay, let's say that you have a business and you're trying to build the business. You don't build a business by just learning what your coach tells you and you sit down, you don't do anything. You become part of the business when you engage in it, when you're part of it, when you're part of the process. Through the experiences of your failure and successes, you build knowledge around it. So it's time for you to research to grow in that aspect of your life. Do you want to get better in your finances? Then you're going to do a research on what it means to get better at this. Do you want to get better in your walk with God? Then you have to sit down and learn to study, do a research on what it entails, study the word and get better at it. So you see, your research is a very important aspect of your growth. It's a very important aspect that helps you get better in your growth level. Now, the last but not least in the aspect of curiosity is studying. Now, it's one thing to research about something, but it's another thing to also pay attention to details, and that's where study comes into play. This is not just restricted to people who are in the education sector or for students. It applies to everything that concerns life. Let's take your relationship, for example. If you want to get better at it, it demands that after you must have asked the basic questions you want to ask about maybe your family, your friend, your spouse, your partner, whoever it is, it's time for you to do a research about it and get to know about the person's demands, needs, and then it's time for you to study this person, pay attention to this person's languages, pay attention to this person's reactions and actions to things. And if you're working on a project, if you're working on a business, if it's your finance, you study your environment, study about this thing, pay attention to the details, and try to find a connection for it to your goal. It spans across everything. It even goes to your business. You need to study your business, study the trends, study what's happening. So it's not enough that you did a research, that's perfect, but you also need to go the extra mile in studying, in gathering materials, you understand? Going above what is placed in front of you to digging deep. That process of digging deep increases your horizon, takes you on another level of growth, takes you on another level of knowledge, and the experience itself is a lesson for you that makes you better at what you're doing. Now, the third thing that I want to say is that you need to get deep into what you're doing, and that is through understanding that you have to pay a sacrifice for your growth. In all the things that I've said, there are a lot of sacrifices that are demanded: the sacrifice of time, the sacrifice of your attention, the sacrifice of your resources, the sacrifice of your energy. Now, my own sacrifice for my growth level is peculiar to me, and yours is different. It depends on what I want to achieve. If I want to get better in my personal development, there are a lot of sacrifices I have to pay. I have to pay sacrifice of time. I have to involve money, energy, and even my pleasures are going to be reduced just because I want to get better at my own personal growth. Now, yours might just be to expand your business. You understand? Your own sacrifice is going to, maybe you have to learn better how to network, learn better how to build a business, So your sacrifice is going to be very different from that of another. So understand and get ready to pay the sacrifice. It spans a lot. So let me give you an instance. I remember then in school that a lot of things were demanding my attention, but I didn't give them those full attention because I was much more interested in getting the real knowledge about this thing that I have a curiosity about. You understand? So there were times I didn't go for certain meetings. There were times that I didn't do certain things. There were times I didn't read certain materials because I had another material that I was reading. You understand? There were decisions that I took that weren't even pleasurable to me at that moment. But because I know that I'm so curious to get this thing and I wanted to get a knowledge about this, that was why I had to pay that sacrifice. So whatever it is you want to do in life, wherever growth level you want to achieve, where in any aspect of your life that you want to experience growth and development, there is always a sacrifice for it. Nothing happens when you do nothing, and something happens only when you do something. So be ready to pay the sacrifice and you see the results coming out. Now, the last but not the least about the simple trick to growth when it comes to curiosity is that you understand it's a process. I know you'll be like, well, Princess, everything you say, you always add that part. Yes, because everything works with time. And if you're patient enough to know that it is a process of evolving, then you won't be in a hurry and then fall into a ditch. You have a financial goal this year and you want to get better at it. Understand it's a process. So be patient with your plans, be patient with your growth, be patient with the sacrifices and the steps you're taking to ensure that it is achieved. And if you're patient with that, you'll be amazed at the result in the long run. Yes, so be patient with the process and know that it takes time while you are at it. That's it on today's episode of Curiosity. And I just hope that you really understood all that I said about curiosity. It is a very big tool when it comes to growth. You can't grow into something you're not interested in. You can't grow into something that you are not curious about. You don't want to know more about. It is your curiosity that brings invention. It is curiosity that brings innovation. It's curiosity that brings enlightenment and knowledge. So, what is the aspect of your life that you seek growth about? Your finance, your personal life, your relationship with God, your relationship with people, your business, your health as well. Every aspect of your life, just get curious about it, develop interest in it, and pay the price for it with patience. And trust me, you're gonna see results come out in its due time. Be patient about it and the result will come. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for staying this far. And I'm sure you enjoyed this channel thus far. So what are you waiting for? If you've not subscribed, sweet, tap the subscribe button and the notification bell so that this episode can reach your friend. Yeah, I'm so excited to see you to the end of this episode. So let's head over to the comments and continue the conversation. But until then, get curious and intentional about your growth. Keep living every day from within to without. Take care. Bye.